I want to welcome the GMs and the wives, the godly men and the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there. Yes, most people are either lying or gaslighting to you, and it's not necessarily because they are intending to do evil, but it is because that they have submitted to Satan as their daddy, and now they have no choice but to be a vessel of the shadow kingdom. And your job as a person that is trying to follow the godly path, the righteous path, the narrow way, your job and your duty, your sacred covenant, is to bring the truth into being and into the light, and to shed light on the darkness. But this is always easier said than done, because you'll soon begin to realize that there are some things that money cannot buy. You'll realize that even with all of the people that are trying to get you to do certain things or purchase certain things or buy into ideas, no amount of money could actually buy the time that you've been given on this earth. And it seems to me like people in general need to start making one of two decisions: getting very angry, and not at the world, but at where you're at in life, and start doing something about it. Or number two, start closing your legs again. My golly. Close those legs! It's insane. It's insane. The lust that we have in our society for both males and females is just astronomically bizarre. And I get it. And I'm not saying that we ought not to treat ourselves as sexual beings in some sense, but how many people have to lie to you in relationships and such before you realize that most of the people out there, both males and females, are not really worth even talking to? It's really of a sad truth, but I'm not really an optimist, and I'm not really a pessimist either. I'm not either of those things. I'm more consider myself to be a realist. And all of these people out here are going to try to make sure that you do not level up the way that you need to and the way that you must for your family legacy and for all of the goodness that you can possibly bring to this world. The powers of evil, the gaslighters, the manipulators, the conniving narcissists, these people do not want you to elevate the way that you are. You must understand this. And the governments, the media, it's more frightening to me to see the people that are actually not just involved with politics and all this government stuff, because I do think that it's important to know what's going on and have some semblance of understanding of what's happening in the world. But to completely buy into what they're saying as truth anymore is beyond me. I have no idea why so many people are buying into this stuff. I have no idea why so many people are looking at the state of our society and thinking to ourselves, oh yeah, equality's good. Oh yeah, abortion isn't wrong. Oh yeah, gun laws are not needed. What the hell are you talking about? Like, you guys really must not know what's going on in the world, and you guys really must not have eyes to see and ears to hear. Because I'm getting to the point now to where we need to, and me, when I say we, I'm pointing one finger at you and I'm pointing one finger back at me. We need to really start to manifest the war path. And I'm not necessarily saying that we should go to war and we should strive to war physically. I'm talking about the spiritual war. because it's absolutely incredulous of these people to continue sitting in power, to continue to influence our youth in our society in a way that completely damages everybody in the relationships. It's like everybody's just going around to damage everybody. That's all they're doing. It's like this cesspool of toxicity. And then the people that are the most toxic are the ones that think that there's not a problem. Like that, it's just, it leaves me speechless sometimes to look at this state and to see the lengths that people are going to and are willing to go to lie to you, to manipulate you. And you better believe that it's going to be your friends, it's going to be your family. In the Bible it says our enemies are those that dwell in our own house, our own household. It's the thing about betrayal is not necessarily that you're an enemy to this person. Well, a betrayal comes from somebody that you thought was a friend. So the betrayal that you might be experiencing also might be from yourself. You might be betraying yourself and you have no idea why. You have no idea how you're doing so, and yet that's what you're doing. You're continuing to betray yourself. And I made a vow when I really started to follow Jesus not to ever betray my past, present, or future self ever again. Because it was in the self-sabotage of myself and my past self and the lies that I told myself is where I ended up sinking into a pit of despair, hopelessness, etc., all the more. And it is quite something to make a promise to yourself to always tell the truth, because that's a fine line to walk, and that's a fine line to really never cross, because you must be truthful. To be truthful is to be true to your word, and also the other sense. If you're not truthful to your word, then you're not really truthful to who you are as a person, because the spoken word is an act of creation. And if you're not actively creating, this is one of the reasons why I'm so very, very cautious of any word that I speak when I'm out and about in the community or even on this YouTube channel. I'm very cautious because I want to make sure that I'm speaking words of life into the life that I'm living, and not any kind of possibilities of words of death. And you might notice, and you might not, but this is one of the benefits of meditation and a clear mind, a pure mind, etc. Because the whole world wants you to be lacking focus, it seems like. The whole world seems like they want you to be in a state of consistent confusion so that you don't know how to make proper decisions. That you look out for the decisions of your flesh and not for the decisions of your spirit. I've also grown more accustomed to looking at the person's spirit when I'm out and about, more so than anything else. The women that are around, and the men as well, but because I've had men that I'm around that I can't be myself, because it's like they're like, well, I am myself, but I can't be around them because being myself somehow makes them insecure, and they want to almost take my identity, and they're not sharing this common life. They're trying to take it from me. And this is luckily and fortunately, as I guess as unfortunate as it may be, fortunately, I've had plenty of experience with this kind of stuff. And I know that men, for the most part, they're not as psychologically manipulative as people might think. However, at least the overt narcissists that are males Now, the covert narcissists that are males, and I've mentioned this before in my other narcissistic videos, they are the most dangerous because the covert narcissist is completely aware of what he's about and what he's doing. He knows exactly, like the covert narcissist can be a complete psychopath and sociopath, either or. Then you have the overt and the covert narcissistic females. And those, I think, are more prevalent than people might anticipate. Because we all have this story being told to us that women can do no wrong, that women are the complete angels, that she's going to be loyal and she's your girl and all this stuff, while she's acting like everybody else's. It's like, and you're told to just take it because and you have to be a real man to let the woman be sexually liberated and have all of these guy friends and be going out with her girlfriends to girls' trips to Europe, doing God knows what, and just letting her do so because you're a real man. You got to let your woman be free. You're not allowed to have boundaries. You're not allowed to have standards. Who do you think you are? You think you're the man? Oh, like it's all of these things that come up, and all the white knights that are, and I used to be a white knight. So I say this in some ways, these videos are a form of repentance for me. Teaching and instructing and giving insight on what not to do and what to do. Because I used to be that white knight beta male years and years ago. And it wasn't until I was 22 when I really started to wake up to the complexity and the lies. But it took courage. It took courage for me to do so because that meant I actually had to trust myself. Whew, that was a rough go for 22-year-old Thaddeus. And I'm 27 now. And that was a rough go because I didn't know how to do that exactly. I always felt like I could trust myself because I had to in order to survive, but I would always think that other people probably knew better than me. And that's a bunch of BS. If you are somebody that is confident and trustworthy, competent, that you're reliable, you're consistent, you show up, there's no reason that you shouldn't trust yourself. And so one of the other things that I've been thinking about in just recent topics and recent things that have been going on in life is that most oftentimes people are going to be cold to you and then like you and then cold to you and then like you. It's like this like teeter-tottering game, and you can't really quite tell like what they're about or who they are about. And so for me, myself, I've just gotten to the point to where I'm just going to be as I am. I'll be kind, I'll be cordial, but I'm not going to try to go out of my way to be around people if they're not trying to put in that same effort. And here's another thing you got to watch out for. If you suspect somebody is being either deterred or manipulated as well, then you have to stay away from that person because they're going to try to act as a flying monkey of the ideologies or the pathologies that they have internalized and try to smack you up in the head with it because they don't know what else to do. They don't know what else to do in life. They don't have an identity. And I think this is something that I probably should have mentioned more at the beginning of this video, but people lacking identity is a big problem nowadays. And the world is going to be more about groups going forward, unfortunately, than individuals, unless we have the courage to change and to stand up to these manipulators and the gaslighters and all these crazy, crazy lunatics that are trying to tell us how to raise our families when they can't even look at themselves clearly. Why do you need to listen to anybody if they can't even listen to themselves? A person that doesn't know who he or she is not somebody worth listening to. And if you're somebody that is at least trying to get to know yourself, well then continue to build yourself. Continue to I wouldn't necessarily say manufacture, but create your identity. Create it. That's the beauty about manhood specifically, is you get to create your identity. But that's also kind of the downfall. It's a double-sided coin. And the gift is that you get to create whatever you want. The curse is that you have to create whatever you want. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.